Do you ever wonder where the water goes when you flush your toilet, take a shower, or wash your dishes? I do, because it's important. And it's fascinating. That's why I've devoted my life to it. But you probably don't think about it as much as I do. Hey, Steve.
Hi, Claire.
For most people, it's out of sight, out of mind. Luckily, there is someone else who thinks about it a lot, and that someone is the Orange County Sanitation District. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good one, Steve.
OCSD has been doing its thing for more than 60 years in northern and central Orange County. It's a special district that's governed by a 25-member board of directors. Board members are appointed from 20 different cities or special districts and one representative from the Orange County Board of Supervisors.
Every day, OCSD deals with 185 million gallons of wastewater.
Do you even understand how much 185 million gallons is?
Neil, what are you doing here?
I'm here to help.
Neil, you're always interrupting me, and it's always
185 million gallons of water? That's like 280 Olympic-sized swimming pools every day. That's almost 12 every hour. Claire, that's 1 every 5 minutes.
You know I don't have a lot of things, Neil.
I wonder if Michael Phelps could swim all those pools. He probably could, but all of the toilet paper and soap suds would get in his way. Nope.
Good stuff, Neil. Anyway, these wastewater swimming pools, they just keep coming nonstop, 24/7, 365. I mean, they just keep coming and coming and coming nonstop. It's like an endless river of wastewater that flows on forever. Sorry, I got a little carried away there.
In any case, it adds up to make OCSD the third largest wastewater treatment agency west of the Mississippi, and it all comes from homes and businesses just like yours.
Hey, Swan. Hey, Claire. But OCSD doesn't just clean wastewater, they recover resources from it. They don't even like to call it wastewater. They call it enriched water because there's tons of useful stuff in there. Hey, Swan, do you ever have sleepovers here?
Biosolids, energy, and of course, water. In fact, OCSD is part of the world's largest water purification system for potable reuse. That means they recycle and reuse more water than anywhere else on the planet.
So let's take a trip down the drain into the magical world of wastewater. It's a world full of wonderful, reusable material from the region's 2.6 million residents. And thank you for sharing.
It starts with the Source Control Program that works with the public and over 700 businesses and industries to limit the amount of chemicals, oils, pharmaceuticals, and other stuff that goes down the drain. This is the first line of defense when it comes to protecting our water supply.
OCSD tests the incoming wastewater for all kinds of pollutants. Plus, there are ways of tracing them back to their source. CSI's got nothing on them. So if you're thinking of dumping your barrels of toxic waste down the drain, don't. It's not a really good idea, and plus, when you go to tip the barrel, you're gonna get splashback, and you're gonna get it on your clothes, and it's just way more trouble than it's worth.
When the wastewater leaves your home or business, it travels in a zigzag like Pac-Man through a maze of sewer pipes to one of 2 wastewater treatment facilities, either Fountain Valley or Huntington Beach.
Here, it undergoes several processes to treat and clean the water before it's safe to release back into the environment.
You smell that? Neither do I. Throughout the plant, it's important to control odors every step of the way. Otherwise, it wouldn't be very pleasant to live or work nearby.
So all the processes that produce odors are covered and continuously funnel the foul air, or hydrogen sulfide, to air scrubbers to be deodorized. Bet you wish you had this technology for your teenage son's bedroom. There are 2 types of air scrubbers, chemical and biological. The chemical method uses chemicals, obviously, like caustic soda, hydrogen peroxide, or bleach to neutralize odor. The biological method uses microorganisms to actually eat the nasty smell right out of the air.
There's a tasty treat. The first phase of wastewater treatment is preliminary treatment, which removes large debris from the water, like rags, clown shoes, car stereos, stuff like this, as well as grit, coffee grounds, and eggshells. These are things that can gunk up the equipment, so they have to be removed before we move on to the next phase. Sounded like a fax machine.
Primary treatment uses big settling basins called clarifiers to separate out some of the solids from the water. It also scrapes away the oils and other materials that float to the surface.
There are scientific names for all of this stuff. The solids that get separated out, that's called primary sludge. Oh, and the oil that gets scraped off of the top, that is called scum. Scum sludge. That's science for you. Ugh.
Up to 80% of the solids are removed at this stage. 80%, that's like a B-, which is pretty good. But the folks at OCSD are overachievers. So the water gets sent to secondary treatment while the sludge gets passed off for further processing. Don't worry, we'll get back to the sludge later.
There are two different types of secondary treatment at OCSD: trickling filters and activated sludge. The trickling filters have a honeycomb-like material media that houses millions of itty-bitty aerobic microorganisms.
Aerobic means these microorganisms use oxygen to live, breathe, and reproduce. Through a process called cellular respiration, they actually use oxygen to turn their food into energy. Hey, I use oxygen to produce energy. Does that make me an aerobic microorganism? Am I? Wait, Claire, can you see me right now?
Yes, unfortunately. The water trickles through this honeycomb material where the microbes eat up the organic solids, and then the treated water is sent to clarifiers where the final particles settle out.
The other option for secondary treatment is the activated sludge, which use microorganisms in large aeration tanks. These aerobic bacteria form together, creating what's called mixed liquor, and then they eat up the solids in the water. Air is diffused into the tanks to speed the decomposition of the solids.
The result is clear, clean water that's ready to go back into the environment. But where does the water go when it's ready? So glad you asked, because this next part might just blow your mind. Every day, all the treated water at Plant 1 in Fountain Valley, up to 130 million gallons, is passed to the Groundwater Replenishment System, or GWRS, the world's largest project of its kind.
Through a partnership with the Orange County Water District, this water is purified to near distilled drinking water quality through a state-of-the-art process consisting of microfiltration, reverse osmosis, and ultraviolet light with hydrogen peroxide.
The result is water that is purer than the purest bottled water. It literally has no taste. It'd be like drinking air. Oh, or eating a rice cake. Minerals have to be added back in so that it doesn't absorb them from the pipes. This isn't food. What is this?
If this high-tech process sounds like it's creating the water of the future, it's because it is.
That new clean water is reintroduced to the groundwater system, where it will eventually become brand new H2O for 850,000 residents throughout the region.
That's the circle of life.
The rest of the water from Plant 2 takes a ride down a 5-mile-long offshore pipeline that's 120 inches in diameter. That's 10 feet wide. The water is released into the ocean 200 feet below sea level off of Huntington Beach.
I know what you're thinking. Is it safe to release all this treated water so close to the beaches? The answer is yes, of course it's safe, because OCSD makes sure it's safe. I can't believe you even asked the question. I'm so disappointed.
Their ocean monitoring program continually evaluates the coastal waters to ensure the marine life and the public are protected from any possible effects of the treated wastewater. The 58-foot research vessel Narissa patrols the high seas, testing all kinds of fish and other critters, and the water, for anything out of the ordinary. They regularly take samples from 11 miles of coastline and 35 square miles of ocean. That's a lot of water. The samples are examined back at the on-site lab, where over 100,000 tests are conducted every year. Obviously, they take the stuff very seriously.
100,000 tests? Sounds like my organic chemistry class in college. Zing! Okay. Whoa. It's pretty awesome, right? But what happens to the sludge removed from the water during treatment? There are plans for that too. Hint, it's right behind me.
Back at the plants, the sludge from the treatment tanks is sent to anaerobic digesters, where it's heated to 98 degrees so bacteria can stabilize it, turning it into nutrient-rich biosolids. Where would we be without the help of all these lovely little microorganisms?
We'd literally be up a creek. Now, unlike aerobic microorganisms, anaerobic bacteria don't require oxygen to grow. Oxygen can actually hurt or even kill them. So the anaerobic digesters are completely sealed off from the air, which is good because it can get pretty smelly.
The entire process takes about 3 weeks, and then the biosolids are dewatered and trucked off to become soil amendment. Every day, 750 tons of it are hauled away for use in fields throughout California and Arizona.
750 tons! That's like 150 elephants. Imagine 150 elephants made out of soil amendment. That'd be a really weird circus.
This soil amendment is like superfood for plants. It's so full of nutrients that it can turn a plot of previously unfarmable land into an oasis of feed crop production.
They call it cake!
There's cake?
And the stinky biogas created by the digestion process, which is about 65% methane and 35% carbon dioxide, is then used to power OCSD's on-site generators.
I could not hear you, Claire. Just to be clear. Since the flow of wastewater never stops, OCSD has 8 of their own internal combustion engines driving generators that produce enough electricity to power 12,500 homes. They even have backups in case of a power outage. Beth? Beth, are you home?
Those engines create a lot of heat, and they don't want to waste it because, well, they don't waste anything. The heat is recaptured and routed to the anaerobic digesters, where it helps turn sludge into useful biosolids. They even reuse the heat.
That just makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Or it could be the enchiladas. I'm gonna go make some biosolids. Just because OCSD has mastered the art of wastewater management doesn't mean there's no room for improvement.
They've got to keep up with the demand and increase efficiency as the population continues to grow. With their capital improvement program, they're always working to modernize and expand to better serve their mission of protecting public health and the environment.
They live for this stuff. After all, Orange County is their home too. As you can tell by now, nothing is wasted during the treatment process. OCSD reuses and recycles the water, the solids, the gas, the heat. That's everything there is. And they do it all for less than $1 a day for the average family.
They may be out of sight, out of mind, but that means that they're getting the job done. If they weren't, believe me, you'd know.
Now you know everything that goes on in the world of wastewater, and you can be confident that every flush is being put to good use. Because OCSD knows that wastewater isn't a waste, it's a resource.